Welcome to the 2025 Montgomery County Goat Show. Our first class of Bordeaux is going to be Addie Leiden.
Like I stated in the sheep show, I'm very excited to get to work with our youth and individuals and get to sort the goats as we kind of bring them out here. We're going to lead off our goat show with one that I dig a lot. I think she's very structurally correct. She's sound on both ends. She's cracked open from her chest floor all the way to her tail head. I like this one a great deal. If you're going to be ultra critical, she's young and immature. I just maybe like to stout her up just ever so slightly at the ground. But that's being critical of one that's really, really good, only going to continue to get better. Let's give this young lady a big round of applause.
Our next class of Bordeaux will be Cash Harold. We have with us today our Montgomery County Fair Queen, Delaney True. The second runner-up, Paige Fire. And our Miss Congeniality, Lily Anderson. Going to give those ladies a round of applause, please.
Again, a single entry in in this particular doe division, but another one just like the last class. I think a lot of quality in this female. I get the opportunity to sort quite a few shows throughout the summers and throughout the years. And a lot of times these does, in my opinion, just get a little bit off in both ends of their skeleton. They get a little bit coarse about their front end and shoulder. This one's still very feminine about the way her neck and head carriage is. Love how opened up she is. If I was going to be critical with all that femininity, I'd just like to go ahead and stout her up in behind if you're going to be ultra critical. But I think that's a very, very good one to go ahead and win this particular class. Let's give that young man a round of applause.
We're going to go ahead and take all the breeding doe pictures before you head back to your pen, so stay up here, please. In our next class of Bordeaux is going to be A.J. Beeson. Warren Jewell.
3 entries in this particular class, and I think there's one that leads off quite handily in this particular trio. This one's just busted open from end to end. She's still elegant about the way her shoulder lays in. I like where her neck attachment is on the top side of her skeleton. This one's huge in her center rib. She carries it all the way to the ground. Love how this one moves out its hip and hind leg. Very nice one to go ahead and lead off this particular class. I think the sort becomes in second for me in this group. I think both of these young ladies brings us ones that have parts and pieces we like a great deal. We're going to go ahead and elect to lead with the one that's a little bit more opened up in terms of the center portion of her body, a little more feminine in her rib cage and design. I think that one, maybe it's not the most elegant fronted one in relationship to the one that's on either side, but I think that one's rib cage and just maternal dimension just definitely excels the one that's going to come in third. The one that comes in third, one that has the added length of spine, definitely is more sharp about her front end, like those parts and pieces. I just like to open this one up from end to end to compete with the ones. Nonetheless, still a great project for the young individual. Let's give them all a big round of applause.
In that class, AJ Beeson was first, Lauren Jewell was second, and Adeline Ellis was third. In our next class, we'll have Lauren Jewell and Addie Leiden.
Just 2 entries in this particular division, and I think by far the closest pairing we've had throughout the sheep and goats, in my opinion. The young lady with the red-headed goat we're going to lead off with brings this one that's just a little bigger in her forerib. She carries it into the lower portion of her skeleton just a nickel better. I would like to get her a little bit more flexible out of her rear too in relationship to the one behind it, but she just adds so much more internal volume and just femininity through the center portion of her body in relationship to the one that's going to come in second. The one that comes in second, I do like how she hinges out of her rear too better. She gets out and moves a little bit freer whenever you get her out on the move. She just isn't quite as opened up. It starts at her forerib, works all the way through the top side of its skeleton, back through the base width, but a nice close pair. Let's give these young individuals a big round of applause.
Addie Leiden was first in that class, and Lauren Jewell was second. Okay, let's come back in for champion Bordeaux. We need Addie Leiden, Cash Harold, AJ Beeson, and Addie Leiden. Today our judge is Phil Doty from Maryville, Missouri. He started as an ag teacher in Northeast Nottoway in Ravenwood for 18 years, and now he raises show ram.
We get out here in this particular division, and I think there's 4 high-quality individuals. There's definitely 4 different types and kinds when I get back and analyze them, and we definitely have some differences in maturity whenever you start looking through these. So, yeah, I mean, you can start down here with the light one. I think that one's really, really good in terms of how that one is. You get that one out on the move. I love how cocky and arrogant that thing is. I love the front end design in that thing. Honestly, I like that one's hip and hind leg, and structure-wise, just as much as or better than anything else in this particular class. When you start looking at and analyzing her, it's just how much is she going to get as she gets older? Is she got that cute fuzzy factor, cuteness factor right now? Or, I mean, I think that's a good one. It's just trying to project how that one's going to mature and grow out. The young man that comes in next in class, I like how tall-shouldered that one is in relationship to the rest of them. When that thing gets and cocks off and gets out and moves, real feminine about the front, 1/3 of that one's body. Where I struggle when I like it out of the backside of its shoulder, where I struggle with this one, once it gets a little straight on its rear too, and it just runs out of gas when you get in back behind it in terms of some of the others out here, but a very, very high quality female nonetheless. The young man that brings us the one out of class 3, complete polar opposite of the 2 right ahead of it. This is the more broody, open up, big shoulder type of female. She's a lot more mature in her pattern, which gives her just a little bit more openness to her shoulder, but I think it still blends very smoothly. I like her in the front 2/3 of this one's body quite a bit. She carries that mass from the bottom of the ground all the way to the top side of her skeleton. If you're going to be critical, she gets really straight on her rear too. From her hooks to her pins all the way to the ground, I'd like to see just a little more flex and reach. I know that's a Borgu thing. I just like to go ahead and show ring setting just to give it a little more flex and reach. Love how opened up, love how broody that one is. Definitely one that is consideration. The young lady that rounds out this class brings us one that's kind of a checks the boxes type of female. There's no big holes in this particular girl. I just don't know if I love anything just in terms of the rest of the class versus this. She's long-sided, she's tall-shouldered, all of those things. She is still a little bit straight. She's not as good at fronted, but a nice check-the-box kind of female. So to me, I think you kind of got to go a lot of different ways. There's one out here that probably just has a little less projection in it to me, and then there's one out here that has a little more projection. For me, we're going to go ahead and elect with the young man to be grand. The young lady up front will be reserved. Let's give these kids a big round of applause.
Our champion Bordeaux goes to A.J. Beeson, and his banner is sponsored by Allensworth Heating and Cooling. Our reserve champion Bordeaux goes to Addie Leiden, and their banner is sponsored by Clarios. Let's give them a round of applause, please. In the ring right now is Lauren Jewell with her breeding buck.
The single entry for the young exhibitor here in our buck division, one that it definitely kind of does check the boxes we've been talking all day. Has enough structural integrity when you get back and look at it from the side. The scrotal development is right where it needs to be, on point at this time. They're both even and well proportioned. I think that in terms of just maybe he doesn't know quite what he wants to be in life. I think he's the long-sided one, but still opened up. I think he does all those things quite well. I just don't know if he has any just wow pieces, but a very good, solid project for the young lady. Let's give her a big round of applause, as she'll be our champion in this particular division.
Lauren Jewell exhibited the champion breeding buck. The banner is sponsored by Bruce Supplies and Construction. Our next class, Grace Nippert, has 2 entries.
Two entries in this class, both from the same exhibitor, and both kind of polar opposites in my opinion. I think the one is probably more, I think they're more my speed in terms of just having those characteristics that I tend to lean to. More opened up in her forerib, stouter from end to end. Probably not as extended, but also has probably a little more boar or more meat goat qualities for me today. The young lady that's going to come in second with the red hiding one, liking added height and extension. That one brings, I just like to open that one up more so for my kind. But I think two very nice projects for the young lady. Let's give them a big round of applause.
In that class, Grace Nippert had first and second. Now we're going to have champion breeding goat champion. So we need AJ Beeson with his champion Bordeaux, Lauren Jewell with her champion breeding buck, and then Grace Nippert will stay in the ring. Grace Nippert's banner was sponsored by Harlan and Wanda Johnson.
In our breeding goat division, again, 5 high-quality individuals based on type and kind and what your goal is. The goat industry probably has more variation in terms of types and kinds and goals upon the way they go. I probably tend to lean more towards the meat side of things in terms of where I'm at. That's just where my background lies, is in production meat animals. So I tend to kind of like those kind a little bit better in my personal evaluation. Not to take anything away from the other individuals out here, you have to appreciate those for what they are. Structural integrity, base width, femininity, masculinity, and in terms of our buck, we have to appreciate all those things regardless of what they are. But for me today, the 2 that probably suit me the best are going to be the Boer influenced females, the young man up front, followed by the young lady with the smaller one. Let's give these kids a big round of applause.
AJ Beeson exhibited the Grand Champion breeding goat, and Addie Lyden exhibited the Reserve Grand Champion. State Farm, Dave Carvajal had the banner for the Grand Champion breeding goat, and the ROCIA, Rural Commerce Committee, had the Reserve Grand Champion banner. At this time, we are going to take pictures of all the breeding goats. Okay, why don't we go ahead and bring our home-raised market goat to the show ring. Why don't we go ahead and bring all of our market goats to the show ring at this time. In our first class of home-raised goats, we'll have Grace Nipper with 1 entry. Grace has 2 entries in this class. She's corrected me, so she'll have 2 entries.
We get out here and start our home race division. I think 2 very high quality projects for the young lady. We're going to go ahead and just lead off with the weather that's just a little bit more powered up, a little bit further along. Like how tall shoulder that one is. I like how opened up that one is. I appreciate the length of spine and just product of pounds on that one. Not to take anything away from the more and more influence type of female here that comes in second in this particular group. I like how opened up this one is. She's just too raw and little for me today in terms of relationship to the one ahead of it. 2 very nice projects, structurally sound enough for both of them. Both have enough product. Let's give these kids a big round of applause.
Grace Nippert has both Grand Champion and Reserve Grand Champion Market Goat. Her banners will be sponsored by Nancy Nelson and Doble Refrigeration. Give them a round of applause, please. Next, we'll start our Purchase Market Goat division, and our first class will be Lauren Jewell and AJ Beeson.
What a way to lead off our Purchase division, and 2 very high quality individuals. As we stated earlier in a couple of these other classes, they're just at different points in terms of where they're at in terms of a county fair market situation. The young man with the black-headed one we're going to lead off with just has more product in terms of mass and muscularity at this point. He's got the added advantage in terms of maturity. We definitely like those things about it. I'd like to see him explode out of the top side of his skeleton ever so slightly better, but a very nice prospect for the young man. The young lady brings us one here. I like a great deal about this guy. He's fighting her awfully hard, but when you really analyze this one, he's shapely as top. He's big in his hip and hind leg. You to see this guy in a few more days down the road. He's just too light for me today to go ahead and move him up. But a nice class. Let's give both of those exhibitors a round of applause.
In that class, AJ Beeson served the purple, and Lauren Jewell got second with the blue. And the next class will have Colin Gray and Garrett True.
Again, like we've studied, two very high quality, structurally integrity type of weathers in this particular class. The one we're going to lead off with just has a little bit more pizzazz or show ring appeal. When you get him out on the move, he's tall-shouldered. He's big about his top side. I love his hip and stifle. He's maybe not the most opened up one in the world, but I think he definitely checks a lot of boxes in terms of just structural integrity and where that one's at. The young man that's going to come in second in this particular division brings us one that's definitely nice, and it's type and kind. Just runs out of gas on the top side of that one. Skeleton in relationship to the one that wins the class. Let's give both of these exhibitors a big round of applause.
In that class, Garrett True is first and Colin Gray is second. In our next class, we're going to have Lauren Jewell, Audrey Johnson, and Dalton
So
True.
why don't you give my phone number to you, so that way you can sit at the Montgomery County Fair Board up there. Before you don't have us. Alright, call me, it's Nancy Wilson, 712-789-0517. And there's a parking, you'll still want a parking pass, and we'll show you where to park that way so you can get in. Okay, awesome. Chris, Chris is the dad, and you're Stacy. Awesome. I'm excited for her. I hope she has a good experience. She will. Yeah? Yeah. The state fair will be even more. Thank you, Scott. Thank you. Thank you. Who's the concert? Saturday. Which I don't think I recall. She was yeah. Other one to buy it. Check with Joanne Olson. She might want it. She hasn't already got her. You know Joanne? Because she's camping up there all week. And then someone will be there that night at the crown too. Yes. It's always a good experience. she gonna get a new dress or the same dress? That dress is so small and bleak. Oh my god, that dress is beautiful. So, fixed it. Yeah. She just didn't want to because she didn't want to so she didn't have time. Yeah, properly. I didn't even notice. I bet a lot of people don't notice. The brother did. Oh, her brother? Which one's her brother? Oh, I'm sorry. No, you're fine.
Again, a very close placing on all three of these. I think there's quality when you start analyzing. There's the two that start this class are different and contrasting in type and kind. I think that there's quality in both of those type and kind. The young man that goes ahead and leads off this particular class brings us one that's just bigger in the center portion of his body. He's bigger in his forearm, which translates into a bigger top side of his skeleton. He's wider and flatter in his loin. I like the way his hip and hind leg hinge. If I was going to be critical about this guy, I'd like to fix his front end, make him a little taller shouldered whenever he gets out on the move. He is the wider chested square, chest forward one of the bunch, but I'd just like to go ahead and just make him a little neater about the way he gets out on his front end for skeleton. The young lady that comes in second brings us one that is neater about the front end design, definitely taller shouldered, longer spine. I think that this one's just a little bit immature for me today in terms of where this one's at. I think this one's just going to continue to get better, more time on feet, mass up, especially in the top side of that one's skeleton. And the young lady that rounds out this class brings us one that checks a lot of boxes in terms of where that one's at. He's structurally sound and correct. He just needs to have more muscularity in a market setting for me. I'd like to blow him open in his shoulder, working all the way back through his loin. Definitely the lightest in his rear twist of the three that we presented. Let's give all those kids a big round of applause.
You know that she's done. She dismissed everything.
In that class, Dalton True was first, Audrey Johnson second, Lauren Jewell third. In our next class, we have AJ Beeson, Addie Lyden, and Delaney True.
Oh, they'll open in the bar. That's what we're doing. So we have to make that bar. Okay. Well, just like, you know what? Okay, lock the bar. Lock it. Yeah. So I'll go for the bar. I was here either, but I was teaching.
Very interesting trio. I think that you you could do a lot of things, but the one thing that definitely I'm going to say that I feel very most comfortable with, the young man leads off with one is the combination of the two that's going to follow it. He is longer, taller fronted. He is a lot smoother about his shoulder. But I tell you, when you analyze him, he still has more than an adequate amount of muscle, especially at the backside of his blade. He has a big old lower leg whenever you get in and look at him from behind. Just a very nice kind of combination weather to lead off the class. The two that come in next are the difference in type and kind. We have one that's a little longer, prettier, more elevated. He definitely has a long loin whenever you get in behind him. He's not as opened up. He's not as opened up at the ground. He's not as opened up high. He definitely doesn't have as much structure when you work underneath. I like his look and design. Honestly, that's one that could be fed to a higher weight and just continue to get better. Polar opposite of the young lady that comes in third in this particular class. That thing is a meat wagon from end to end. I like the top side shape that one has. With that said, he's too straight about his front end, and he's too straight about his hock and leg to the ground. He wants to fight the young lady, and that's a result of just his neck sets down lower in it, and when she gets to cranking on it, it just restricts his airflow, I think, whenever you start analyzing it, just the way he's made. Love his carcass qualities. If it's a carcass class, he moves higher up. It's still a show. I'd like to just correct those few things, but a very impressive animal nonetheless. Let's give those three exhibitors a big round of applause.
In that class, AJ Beasley was first, Addie Lyden second, Delaney True third. In our next class of Purchase Market Goats, we have Colin Gray and Cash Harrell.
Friday. Right? Yeah. Friday night is the barbecue. And no, the barbecue's Friday. Are you coming up that Friday? Just August. Yeah. Friday is the 8th. This is the barbecue. So then the crowning is the 9th. Saturday night, the 9th. Oh, okay. Oh no, Parker is the 9th. He's that Friday night. So he's that Friday night concert. Because I even talked about Ron, and I said, I don't know that guy's here. But so Saturday night, once she's dismissed, she's still, and I don't think the concert starts until she might be okay. So I don't know if the schedule is down or she didn't have to. Oh, she will. Oh. So I'll bet she has to go. Well, because they're in the parade. It's Thursday night. So I bet they have to be up there. Wednesday night or Thursday morning. And then after that crowning, I know the girls all meet their parents and they have their bags somewhere. And then they're gone that Saturday night after the crowning. Yes. You might be able to.
As we start to work up, I think we found one in this class that really hits me pretty hard. Love how tall shouldered this thing is. Love how smooth his shoulder and front end design. Love his neck set. When you get in behind this, when he's stitched up from his front to his back, he's big in his pin set. He's huge at the ground. Really, really good one to lead off this particular class. Not to take anything away from the young man that comes in second. He has the added advantage in length of spine. He is taller about his shoulder, I'll grant him that. I just like to crack him up, open from end to end, make him just have more muscularity, especially the top side of that one, skeleton. But a very nice one to go ahead and land second to one I dig quite a bit. Let's give both of those kids a big round of applause.
In that class, Cash Harold was first and Colin Gray is second. In our next class of Purchase Market Goats, we're going to have Natalie True and Lauren Anderson.
Oh, unless you're named Queen, then I don't think you ever get to go home.
Let's thank our superintendents for the goat show and the sheep show, Tanner Allensworth and Don Nipper.
It's like Daisy last year. She met a girl, now they're roommates in college. I mean, wow, big deal.
interesting pair of weathers here. Neither one of them are cooperating for the young people, and sometimes whenever the weather's beautiful like this, they'd rather be doing something else than being at town at the fair. But the one we're going to lead off with is, like, again, as stated earlier, probably more my speeding kind. I like how opened up that one is about its forerib, translates into a huge top side of its skeleton in relationship to the one behind it. Yeah, he's not the longest spined one in the world. He wants to get a little weak right behind his shoulder, but I think that one has more than an adequate amount of power and look. When you get in behind him, he still balances up decent enough from the side. Very logical place for me to lead off this class. The young lady brings this one here in second that definitely has in terms of advantage of frame size, just length of spine. I like those things about him. I just like to open him up, starting at the forerib, working up through the top side of his rib cage, give him a foundation for that top side muscularity to go ahead and lay. But another nice class for both of these young individuals. Let's make some noise and give some kids some applause for this class.
In that class, Natalie True was first, Lauren Anderson second. In our last class of purchase market lambs, we'll have one entry for Natalie True.
A single entry for the young lady, so I probably will get this placing correct. Whenever I start analyzing him, though, I think this is a pretty good, in terms of just meat and potatoes type of weather. He's good about his shoulder. He's good about his length of spine. I'm not sure he has a lot of the pizzazz of some of the others we've seen today, but in terms of just production world, he's going to hang a big carcass and bring a lot of product and things to the table for the young lady. Let's give her a big round of applause for keeping one that fresh and it's that size.
Natalie True was first in that class. Now we're going to bring in all of our first place market purchase votes for grand champion. We'll have AJ Beeson, Garrett True, Dalton True, AJ Beeson, Cash Harold, Natalie True, and Natalie True. Let's give an applause to these exhibitors, because this is a great lineup for purchase market. Go.
we get out here for our champion purchase, and with all 7 of these class winners, I think there's a lot of quality, a lot of similarities in type and kind. As I've stated every time I get the chance to evaluate, this is a personal opinion. And even with the smaller numbers that we had, I definitely have a type and kind that I gravitate to. They're taller shouldered, better looking animals from the side. Still have more than enough muscularity, but I think you have to have some structural integrity. Anybody can take and make that animal really, really stout if you give it that. I think it's just the balance of the combination, the balance with the power that I definitely come into play. There's one out here that hit me pretty hard. You get him back out here, there's no denying he's the best one in my personal opinion. We'll go out and select our champion. From there, we'll bring in a second place and take another look. Let's give all these kids a big round of applause.
Champion purchase go was Cash Harold. Coming in for second is Colin Gray.
Circle all the way out and around.
in my opinion, it definitely gets a lot closer for reserve, and not trying to hide anything. I think that there's the three that I'm kind of landing on are the three lighter weight ones in this particular division. I think all three of these have quality in terms of where they're at. I just kind of analyze them. I don't know if there's a perfect one out here, but I think there's a lot of parts and pieces in terms of where they're at. I can just kind of talk through what I'm seeing. The young man with the black-headed one that goes ahead and leads off class 1. Like that dude in terms of just how neat he is about his front end. You're going to project a little bit on just how massive he's going to get in the end. He still has a lot of topside shape for as green and raw as he is. A lot of things about him that you like, just if he gets powerful enough in the end in terms of where he's at. And so today at a county fair or aim point kind of setting, you just kind of got to take that into consideration in your head. But I like that guy a lot in terms of where he's at, in terms of look and balance and design. The one that comes in the second class, I think he's kind of the combination one. Is he the stoutest one we got out here? I might argue that I don't think he is, especially out of the rear 1/3 of his skeleton. He probably is as big a topped as the one anything we got out here that's left. I like how elegant and up-fronted he is. He's not the shortest about his blade in relationship to the ones on either side of him. I like the added length, the spine that one has. I like the height, the shoulder that one has. And the young man in class 3 is the other one in contention. I like the amount of just raw shape that one has when you read him from the ground up. He does run out of gas on the top side of his skeleton in terms of just firmness to the touch, but I like how opened up he is from end to end. Again, not the most beautiful fronted, not the tallest shouldered one, but I do like those things about it. I think all three of those can kind of go in a lot of different ways based on your opinions. For me, I'm probably going to land on probably the more combination one, the young man out of class 2 over our reserve. Let's give him a big round of applause.
Reserve champion purchase market goat goes to Garrett True. His banner is sponsored by Dover Refrigeration, and Cash's banner was sponsored by Axel and Betty Larson. Next, we'll have our overall grand champion market goat. So we're going to need Cash, Harold, Lamb, and Grace Snickers.
We get out here for grand champion overall market animal, and I think, again, like I've said, not to be a broken record, but 4 high-quality animals, they definitely have the right to be representing the drive here in your particular county. I think there's a lot of quality when we get out here. I think there's structural integrity, there's muscularity, and things of that nature. With that being said, there's one out here that I think excels the group quite handily. Then I think it maybe gets a little bit closer. But to me, the 2 that I like best will be our purchase. The young man with this will be grand. The young man up there will be reserved. Let's give these kids a big round of applause.
Our overall grand champion market goat goes to Cash Harold, and his banner is sponsored by the Iowa Goat Meat Association. And our reserve grand champion market goat goes to Garrett True, and his banner is sponsored by Dover Refrigeration. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you. think we're going to begin our senior showmanship. And we have AJ Beeson, Audrey Johnson, Addie Leiden, Grace Nippert, Delaney True, and Natalie True. AJ Beeson, we need you for senior showmanship.
As I stated in the sheep show, the same goes for the goat show. It's awesome to have kids come back out and do showmanship. I think there's skills and lessons that we can learn in the show ring that can translate to a lot of different things. Dedication, time management, just overall work ethic. There's so many things that can translate into this. With that said, you know, there's 6 individuals out here in the ring. We only get to select one. That doesn't mean that I don't particularly care for any of the other ones. That's not it's just a personal preference in terms of showmanship. I can tell you we haven't had a large number of exhibitors today, so I was able to kind of interact with all these kids. I can tell you that I've interacted with all of these people out here. They're very polite, very, very cordial. They're also very personable, every one of them, and that's saying a lot in today's world. I get the opportunity to sort a lot of stock shows, and not always the case. Sometimes the people skills are lacking, but these individuals do a great job. With that being said, there's one out here that I think has done a really outstanding job today. Very personable, also has their goat showed to its highest ability. The young lady up front will be our champion senior. Let's give her a big round of applause.
Our champion senior showman is Addie Leiden, and her banner is sponsored by Rogers Plumbing and Heating. Next will be our junior intermediate showman, and we have 2 entries, Lauren Jewell and Dalton True. At this time, I'm going to talk about the top 10 rated game for the GOATs. We had a tie at number 9 with AJ Beeson and Cash Harold. Number 8 was Garrett True. Number 7, Colin Gray. Number 6, Lauren Anderson. Number 5, Addie Leiden. Number 4, Delaney True. Tie at number 2 with Natalie True and Dalton True, and number 1 was Natalie True. Give them a round of applause, please.
In our beginner division, again, choose 2 individuals out here. We can select a champion. Obviously, that would make the other one reserved. Both of these individuals have been out here multiple times throughout the day. I think that they do an excellent job, both of them. There's one that probably just does a little more my speed in terms of just having the calm collectedness. I think both have room for improvement, but both are doing an excellent job. Let's give both these kids a big round of applause. The young man on the far left will be our champion in this particular division. Not to take anything away from the young lady, both are great showmen.
Our champion intermediate junior showman, it will be Dalton True, and his banner is sponsored by Clarios. Next, we'll have our beginner showman. That's Lauren Anderson, Adeline Ellis, and Colin Gray. like to remind everyone that at 1 o'clock this afternoon, we'll have our poultry show if you'd like to join us.
I don't know where to begin on this particular class because this is the toughest decision we've made all day. In my personal opinion, all three of these kids have done an excellent job. I get the opportunity to kind of ask some questions and talk with them. All three of these kids are very, very personable. They definitely like talking about their projects and telling you a little bit about them. Learn quite a bit of things throughout the process there. In terms of some of them have a few more at home, some of them don't. Some of them, they would tell me about their particular situations that maybe they don't have some opportunities that some of the others do. But with all of it said, they're all out here, they're enjoying it. So before we select it, I want to make sure all three of these kids hear that they're appreciated. Let's give them a big round of applause. Again, not to take anything away if we have to select one out here. There's one that probably just has maintained eye contact just a little bit better. None of the three of them goats are really cooperating at this particular juncture. The young lady up front is going to be our champion. Let's give her a big round of applause.
Our champion beginner showman is Adeline Ellis. Now we're going to choose our overall grand champion showman. So we need Addie Leiden, Dalton True, and Adeline to stay in the ring.
Last time I'll talk on the mic, so I'm going to just give you a little bit of synopsis of how I'm feeling. First off, thank you for having me up here. I cherish every opportunity to get to evaluate livestock. Every time I get a chance to do it, if anybody's ever understood how evaluating livestock, you're not going to get rich doing it. You do it because you love it. You do it because you like working with kids and those things. It's strictly an opinion. My family and I do this at a very high level, or we sure try to. We've all had days where we got along really well. We've had days where we wish things would have maybe went a little better. But with that said, you just got to step back and remember, it's truly just an opinion. If we all had the same opinions, this world would be pretty boring when it gets down to it. I'm a big advocate of this program. I think that the livestock help raise the kids. I know we are raising livestock, but though we're using them as a tool to raise kids and make better human beings with work ethic and different skills that they can't get in a lot of other places. Thank you for having me. With that said, I think that throughout the day there's one that just got a little bit better. Not to take anything away, the young lady out of the senior division will be our champion. Let's give her a big round of applause.